Is porn shrinking your penis? Hi, I'm Luke Vu, PhD, clinical psychologist, mental health expert helping men overcome digital addiction, depression, and anxiety. Most men use pornography. It's easy to access, affordable, and anonymous. However, we don't realize that porn can affect how we see ourselves, our beliefs, and our expectations of ourselves and our partner. Big issue that comes up is feeling inadequate about your penis size. Chronic consumption can distort your self-image, causing you to feel dissatisfied with your body and evaluate that your penis is smaller than the average. Quick disclaimer, I'm not your psych, this isn't treatment, and if you need a psychologist, you should find a registered, qualified psych in your area. How porn messes with your body image. Unrealistic standards. Porn employs male performers with large genitalia and essentially sexual athletes with unique attributes. This is simply the job description. The average penis length for a male performer is 17 to 22 centimeters, while the Australian average is around 13 centimeters. Let that sink in. The average porn penis is well above the national average. In addition, the average penetration duration depicted in pornography is 20 to 30 minutes, often depicted as more intense and rigorous than real-life partnered sex. In real-life couples, average duration of penetration is around 5 minutes. Even the positions depicted in pornography are unrealistic and designed for visual entertainment. You know, the same way that cars are meant to be driven on the road and not to jump off from one building to the next. Porn performers themselves report they don't prefer the positions depicted in pornography in their own intimate lives.
90% of the things I do on camera, I do not want to do in my room. I'm not like swinging off of a Tarzan vine and backflipping onto him or anything like that.
My sex life is a much more intimate life. I think it's more of a feeling than it is what you actually see. Being able to cry maybe during sex, or maybe even just feeling very vulnerable during sex. I don't necessarily go to that space a lot within my pornography because I'm not sure people actually want to see that.
Imagine if all your driving education came from watching hours of Fast and Furious movies daily and believing that everyone drives like Vin Diesel. You'd be setting yourself up for failure. Studies on porn usage and body image. The more frequently you use pornography problematically, the more likely you are to engage in a negative loop of self-comparison, making you feel and see yourself as inadequate, and you're more likely to believe that the average penis in reality is larger or better than yours. This incorrect belief promotes unnecessary anxiety and self-consciousness. It's further worsened if you continue to incorrectly believe that this impairment will exclude you from meaningful relationships and doom you to permanent disapproval from your partner. Perceptual calibration. Some of this phenomenon is perceptual, not just logical. That is, the way that you see your own penis appears smaller because of this frequent comparison. Simply knowing that your penis is average size and knowing that porn is exaggerated might not be enough to resolve the issue. You might still perceive your penis as smaller. Knowing doesn't eliminate this optical illusion. Take for example these circles. Even though the orange circles are the same size, in the wrong context or with an incorrectly held belief, one of the orange circles still looks small in comparison, even though you know they are the same size. Cinematic techniques. 7 inches isn't just 7 inches. Remember, visual pornography is visual entertainment, created by a skilled director and a production team. 7 inches has to visually appear significant and daunting. Directors intentionally have to provide it with a type of screen presence. If you use pornography, it's hard to unsee the director's skill once you're aware. Sorry, not sorry? The following are some cinematic techniques utilized to achieve this exaggeration. Directors use perspective by positioning the penis closer to the camera with the other performer further away. In the POV genre, this is a natural setting with performers' facial features positioned further in the background while the penis is in the foreground. Scale. Directors use scale by positioning and directing performers in a way that favors larger evaluations. For example, using hands and fingers to exaggerate size through directing how a performer grabs or grips. These cues are used to help highlight visual characteristics of size. Low camera angles and lenses can make the performer appear larger by emphasizing foreground and background separation. Notice the larger visual presence of the left image compared to the right. You'll also notice this angle for certain sexual positions, because it's easier for the camera to capture features from both performers and their faces with less obstructions. Lighting and shadow helps create a sense of depth. Proper lighting enhances the body's features while minimizing imperfections. This is why film productions have a dedicated lighting team. Porn is no different. Lack of pubic hair. removing pubic hair to maximize perceptual length on camera and visual detail. Acting skills and emotional responses also play a large part in how your brain perceives the scene. Surprise, shock, enthusiasm, visible discomfort, or difficulty with accommodating all add to the perceptive size. The script and verbal descriptions also reinforce the visual presence during the scene. Think of cooking YouTubers and how they overreact to sell how good their recipe or cookbook is. Lastly, and most importantly, the casting process of course determines what the camera gets to work with. Apart from being the above average industry standard penis size and shape, female actors are also chosen with the same considerations in mind, often smaller framed and exaggerated figures and features. Less discussed effect is that penises come in all shapes and sizes. Only desired curvatures or proportions are represented in pornography, so you may feel that your own shape and size is atypical or that you're the odd one out. These techniques are so ubiquitous that you subconsciously internalize how a penis should look like and perform. Ultimately, these images become a regular part of your sexual education for better or worse. Anxiety and arousal. The vicious cycle of anxiety about sexual performance may very well end up causing the thing you're anxious about. Being in your own mind often creates this self-fulfilling and self-defeating cycle. Very much like Anakin Skywalker turning into a Darth Vader type situation. You're worried and dissatisfied about your own body. You might also be worried about embarrassment or judgment during intimate, vulnerable moments. This can further undermine self-confidence, making you believe that your anatomical shortcomings are to blame, which are unchangeable, when the issue lies in your own psychological conditioning, which is changeable. The anxiety is fueled by two main causes: misplaced importance on size and shape. The first problem arises from the belief, perpetuated by pornography, that penis size is the most important factor in sexual satisfaction. This simply isn't true.
People think bigger is always better, but I personally don't like huge dicks.
Yep. I've heard girls say guys with little penises, if they're working it right, they killing it. And some girls tell me it's too big.
Size is not important. Connection is. The good thing nowadays is that there's so much content on YouTube supporting this age-old claim coming from performers themselves.
It really isn't about size, it's about how you connect with the person.
Yeah.
You can have a little one or you can have mine. It doesn't matter. As long as you watch them, you're gonna win. Trust me.
Pornography conditions us to think of sex in a mechanical way, requiring a large tool, with excessive focus on orgasms creating unrealistic expectations. Scientifically, there is little to no correlation between penis size and sexual satisfaction among couples. Emotional connection, communication, and mutual pleasure play a far greater role in maintaining healthy sexual relationships. Men who internalize the wrong message miss the point and often feel inadequate in relationships, regardless of their partner's actual satisfaction. Sexual and relationship insecurity. For some individuals, their self-image and anxiety bleeds into other areas of their relationship. They might feel insecure about their relationship or that their partner is vulnerable to infidelity because of their penis size. Sometimes this anxiety and insecurity manifests in reassurance seeking or even possessiveness. These thoughts and how they manifest can be exacerbated by pornography. But no one seems to mention that the script and content of pornography can make the anxiety triggers worse. Or particular categories that depict infidelity, degradation, humiliation contain dialogue that often reinforce that someone with a large penis can threaten a relationship. The scenario is the fundamental pillar of every scene involving a pizza man, taxi driver, or neighbor. To boil down the success of a relationship to sexual performance would be reductive. It's about vulnerability, intimacy, as well as emotional and physical connection. Debunking porn education. So if you resonate with what I've discussed so far, here's a checklist if you're struggling with your self-image. Understand that pornography is a curated, unrealistic portrayal of sex designed for visual entertainment, not education. Regulate your pornography use. Reducing exposure to pornography helps recalibrate expectations and diminish unhealthy comparisons. If you find your self-image is affected by certain categories, be more discerning and even cut down your use. Challenge your assumptions about sex. Bodies come in all shapes and sizes. Accept your body and recognize it is not the most important part of a healthy sexual life. Your mind and how well you connect to your body is. Foster open communication. Learn to be comfortable when discussing intimacy. Communicate your boundaries, preferences, and learn to collaboratively explore sexual connection together. Focus on emotional connection. Prioritize intimacy, communication, and mutual satisfaction over physical insecurities. Remember, movies are not real life. Relationships are much more than what happens in the bedroom. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe. I'm Luke Vu. Be kind, be you. Catch you next time.